we spoke about this yesterday, and it was very interesting to hear the opinion of the IFA, but this is the EU battle over whether vegan burgers and sausages should be called something else, like discs and fingers. It's going to be apparently decided later. MEPs will vote today after complaints from the meat industry about the use of the words, including steak and a scallop. Opponents say a ban would go against the EU's plans to help lower carbon emissions by helping people choose meat-free alternatives. Sandra Higgins from Go Vegan World is on the line. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much for coming on. These words have been around for a million years, belonging, I guess, to the meat industry. Do you not feel they have some sort of a right to protect their corner of the room?
The words don't belong to the meat industry, actually. For over 2,000 years, these words have been used by people who eat plant products. Dating to a couple of hundred years before BC, we were using mock meats made from gluten in China, and manufacturing tofu, which was used as a mock meat and a replacement for dairy products. And plant milks have been known for thousands of years in every culture around the world. So it's wrong to say that they have a monopoly on these words. They don't. This is an attempt by the industry to harm and discredit the plant food industry because they're threatened because of the very rapid growth in it. And anything at the moment that helps people transition from animal foods to plant foods should be encouraged and supported, not harmed.
Okay, I had one of those vegan burgers somewhere, and it tasted very, very like meat, actually, to be very fair to you.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes, I did. It was very, very, very pleasant. But I was told straight up, it wasn't a meat burger. So, but it was called a burger, actually. I didn't have a problem with that, personally.
Yeah, a burger refers to the shape of the product. And we've had vegan and vegetarian burgers, we've had them for 2,000 years, but the word burger, when vegetarianism was popular in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we had these products and nobody objected to them. This is the bullying hand of the industry because they feel threatened. But you're right, they taste very pleasant. They can be used as part of a healthy, nutritional diet. And the big difference, the important difference, is that they didn't involve the exploitation and killing of an animal who shares our ability to feel physically and psychologically, and who values their life and doesn't want to die. And it also has a significantly lower carbon footprint. It's not as damaging to the water and the soil. I mean, we're in the middle of some of the greatest crises that humans have ever faced at the moment because of the climate catastrophe and the complete collapse of the ecosystem, that we need to produce food. I mean, farmers need this balancing the environment to be able to grow and produce food. And we're also experiencing the effects of a pandemic. Now, the vast majority of pandemics are related to zoonotic diseases, and they occur because of our inappropriate association and use of other animals. So,
yeah, okay, but on the other side of my vegan burger, Sandra, I also like an old steak and chips myself. So I can live with both sides of the equation, and I'm not going to give up the meat. I'm not going to give up my sausages either way. We're talking about something slightly different. We're talking about the naming of these things, really, aren't we?
The topic in question is changing the right of consumers and the right of producers to label their foods with these terms, and that protects consumer rights. So actually the proposed ban violates the rights of consumers to easily access information about healthy food that's sustainable and ethical.
But
so
if you want to differentiate yourselves from the meat industry and from what they do, surely the logical thing would be to sort of move in a different direction and name them something different, so you are definitely not meat-based.
Well, you see, it's very convenient. We have a right to use these terms. These terms were being used a long time before we had animal products on our supermarket shelves. We have a right to use them, and they help people very easily make the transition from a diet with animal products to a plant-based diet. And anything that helps the ethics of not using other animals, the environmental benefit, the health benefit, the association with pandemics should be supported. So we don't have to differentiate.
No,
and
but
this is convenient for people.
Yeah, I suppose on the other hand, the meat industry could call their stuff meat fingers or meat discs.
Well, they do. They do. And they're not predominantly composed of flesh anyway. I mean, there's only about 33% of pig flesh in a sausage. Very, very little fish in fish fingers, 50% of chicken bodies in chicken nuggets. So, you know, it's kind of a ridiculous argument. The ban has arisen because farmers are feeling threatened, and they absolutely should not feel threatened. We know that we have to move towards a plant-based system of food production because of on environmental grounds, never mind the ethics of animal use. And we will need farmers to grow this food. So they're going to benefit. They're feeling threatened. They feel their livelihoods are threatened by the very rapid expansion of the number of people going vegan and the number of people on a plant-based diet, and a lot of those people choosing to buy these products.
Right.
That's what they're on our shop shelves because they're meeting the demand from vegans. But actually, the very thing that threatens the livelihood of farmers is the current system, which only exists because it's subsidised, which is very harmful, and actually, in terms of being misleading.
But do you have a problem for as a matter of interest? I mean, I get the impression that you advocate in a very strong way here, and that's your job, that's what you believe in, and I fully respect that. But do you have a sort of a not condescending, I suppose, a dismissive opinion of people who eat meat and want to pursue, you know, the old hamburger and chips?
Well, put it this way. If supermarkets were to, if farmers are consistent about labelling, and if accurate labels were on animal products, and supermarkets showed videos of standard legal practice, now I'm not talking about breaches of animal welfare, standard legal practice that meet animal welfare guidelines, very, very few people would buy those products, because the truth is actually so bad that a lot of the time it's banned from being shown on social media or on television. It's so traumatic and so violent and so unnecessary.
But I just asked you about your opinion of people who do eat meat, for example.
It's not about my personal opinion of people who eat animal products. I was one of them.
Right.
My job is to educate people about the reality of the unjust practices of using beings who have feelings the same as we have and who value their lives, and turning those beings into objects and food unnecessarily, because a 100% plant diet is nutritionally adequate and has many health benefits, and it's environmentally sustainable. So using other animals for any reason, for food or any other reason, is unjust. And my job is to educate people so that they can make a decision. But the proposed ban, you know, it completely undermines the intelligence of the consumer. People are not stupid.
Sure.
And some of the companies manufacturing these analogues of animal products, you know, in over 30 years of existence, they've never had a complaint that consumers have been confused.
No, but you're obviously not just a vegan, you're an animal rights campaigner.
Well, they go hand in hand. To be vegan...
Do they? I know people would have no issue with that whatsoever. They'd be vegan because they want to eat healthier. They're not necessarily an animal rights campaigner.
No, that's not veganism at all. That's somebody who's on a plant diet. A vegan is somebody who recognises that humans are animals, the same as all the other animals that live on the earth. That they are equal to us. They have the right to their lives, and they have the right to be here, and they have the right not to be used as commodities and exploited and killed. That's what a vegan is.
Right. Okay. You've educated me there. Environmental journalist and campaigner John Gibbons on Twitter says burger is short for hamburger, a sandwich first developed in Hamburg, hence the name. So it's nothing to do with meat at all. Oh.
Yeah, and the word steak comes from the utensil used to cook flesh, not from the word steak itself. All the other names, burgers, fingers, they refer to the shape of the product. And the word milk, I mean, nothing is more misleading than the selling of the milk that a cow produces to feed her own baby as a human product. There are other definitions of the word milk that include the sap of a plant. We use terms like peanut butter, the flesh of fruit, the milk of coconuts. So the farmers don't have a monopoly on these words.
Okay, and what if the ruling goes against you?
Well, actually, the studies show that it doesn't really affect the explosion in the number of people going vegan and eating a plant diet. But if you think of it, when you go into a supermarket, if you look at the vegan section, most of the products in that section are actually manufactured by the animal agriculture industry, because the writing is on the cards and they see the future. The only ones who are being harmed here are the farmers themselves, who are being exploited and not supported to move in this direction. But alongside those are products from very small ethical companies, and we have them in Ireland, and they will be harmed because they'll have to go to the cost of relabeling and repackaging their goods. Supermarkets will have to go to the trouble of relabeling them, and consumers have a right to easily access information about the products they're buying.
It suits nobody, really, is what you're saying. I suppose it
suits nobody.
Right. Okay.
And I tell you, at the moment, it's absolutely atrocious. In the middle of the disaster of climate change and environmental collapse and the pandemic that we're even discussing this, all our efforts should be going to support farmers to transition to sustainable, ethical plant production, and for everyone else to consume as many plant-based products as possible and as little animal products as possible. Okay,
Sandra, I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for coming on. It's a very interesting topic and one we could talk about all day, because we also have people who have an exactly opposite view to what Sandra has, but maybe we'll get somebody on who can take the other view, apart from the Irish Farmers Association, who were on yesterday. That's Sandra Higgins from Go Vegan. So go vegan.